Last week's episode ended with a catastrophic attempt at docking at Elliott Key. I'm not used to handling such a big boat, and there's also an issue with it being very difficult to tell whether the engines are in or out of gear when they're in the neutral or idle position. And so now that the boat is safely tied up in its slip at Elliott Key, I'm going to go and check out the bathrooms. The last time that I was here, the bathrooms were closed. They were locked up and there was some work being done on the plumbing. There's a lot of this sargasso weed around in the bay, and a lot of it is collecting in the harbors. This is what the islands look like naturally, mostly. Mangroves coming down to the water, and maybe a little bit of sand in between them. Oh, that actually has stuff other than the sargasso weed that kind of stinks. And this floating dock is interesting. I don't think that normal people are supposed to tie up to it. It's probably reserved for rangers or something like that. Because they have these signs like this one here on the seawall. No docking. I think that applies to like all normal people that don't work for the Park Service. That big building has some sort of classroom upstairs, and this smaller building has the bathrooms, which this door seems locked. That's what I'm looking for, is showers. This looks like the right door, and it's open. Oh yeah, last time I was here it was locked up and I couldn't get in. I'm going to check and see if the shower actually works before walking to the boat and back with a towel. Yeah. That sign says that the water is non-potable water, so you're not supposed to drink it, but you can shower with it and wash your hands and flush the toilets. Elliott Key actually has a freshwater well on it, and that's why there can be showers here. Oh, these notices are about mostly poisonous plants. Things that you shouldn't touch. A lot of these plants will give you a rash like poison ivy. Poison wood, yeah, that's all over the Bahamas too. It has leaves like a mangrove or a banyan tree almost, and bark that looks a little bit peely, kind of like sea grape trees, if you know what those other trees look like. And some people get a terrible rash. This is that bigger building, and it's very open downstairs, but this whole upstairs area looks like some sort of classroom. There's tables with chairs set up all around, and displays of like turtles and fishes. Wow. It's air conditioned all the time. They should really have sort of a pay lock where you can go and sit inside in the air conditioning, and because I would definitely like put quarters in there if I could just go in and sit in the air condition for a while. This is way out in Biscayne National Park, and you're quite a ways from any other air conditioning here. Those were the air conditioners running. And there are mosquitoes about. So it's back to the boat for me. I'm going to collect a fresh set of clothes and my towel and some shampoo, and I'm going to take a nice shower. Got a towel. I kick off my flip-flops before climbing over the sofa. I got these hammocks, cargo hammocks, that I've got hung up around the edges of the V-berth. I had a thought of building a wall to enclose the part up there that slopes away from the bed, and leaving just the bed area flat and then vertical walls with doors that open to cabinets here. But it looks a lot more open with the cargo nets. And I've got more room to flop around when I'm sleeping and stuff. Oh, this is colorful. That's a fresh shirt to wear. Fresh pair of pants. Check out this shirt.
Searching for Key East. There's a Key West, so there must be a Key East somewhere. And I'm going to keep coming back until I find it, no matter how many times it takes.
And in the bathroom, I can get some shampoo. This is a really nice boat. You can shower in the bathroom. And for next summer, I want to get the drain in the shower working so that I can use the shower in the boat. But for right now, I'm on my way to the showers at Elliott Key. I'm so glad that I made this shelf at the back of the back boat. There used to be just a real narrow 3-inch ledge there. And then the back of the boat sort of sloped outward as it went down. Like the other side of, well, like the other side still is, on the other side of the little walkway to the dive platform, but I've walked away from that now. So here I am at the bathrooms.
Oh yeah, that felt really good. Aside from the mosquitoes biting my butt and other parts, that water was so cool. Oh, and I'm so clean. First shower other than a sun shower out of a plastic bag in 2 weeks.
That was a mosquito.
Very nice. Elliott Key Harbor bathrooms. Showers. Oh yeah.
And so this is just it for the bathroom. I collect my towel, my washcloth, my dirty clothes, my boat keys, and my shampoo. This is one of the nice things about this first-person filming rig. is that I can film what's happening and I still have my hands free. That also gives, oh, here's showers.
Showers.
It also gives my viewers, I think, a better idea of what it's like on the boat. You can see things from my perspective, the way I see them, instead of a camera on a tripod. Uh-oh. What would you do if you were really locked out of your boat someplace like really distant like this? Oh.
That was a close one.
I still did have the keys, so I suppose I could go up top at the flybridge and drive the boat back to the mainland and call a locksmith. Although someplace really remote in the Bahamas might be more of an issue. So I've had my shower. There are mosquitoes about on the island, so I'm getting out of here. The throttles get pulled sideways to disengage them from the gearing, so I can rev the engines without putting it in gear. So this is what I do every time I start the engines.
Oh yeah.
Once they seem to be running smoothly, then I can move the throttles back to the neutral position, and they kind of want to spring back towards the center, and then the next time they're moved, they'll put the boat in gear.
That is neutral.
But first I have to untie.
Feel for that.
Leaving almost seems like a shame after all the trouble I went through to get in here. Okay, backing out of the slip. And the back of the boat's just sort of naturally swinging towards the harbor entrance, so I just go with it and back out of the harbor.
Oh, fishes.
And here we go. the autopilot said I can look around, and that's just it for Elliott Key. It's so nice to have the autopilot drive the boat. I have to be aware of other boats or things coming, but I do have time to do things other than just sit and hold the steering wheel the whole time. I tried to get some video of the stuff going by on the bottom, but it didn't turn out that well. Most of the stuff growing on the bottom of Biscayne Bay here looks like the background in SpongeBob. And this is about how I run the boat. 2000 RPM. Keep it about 160 degree temperature. And I go about 6 miles an hour or so. Going much faster than that wastes gas, and I give it more throttle and don't go a whole lot faster. I just make a bigger wave. Oh, here I'm trying to bring the bow of the boat into the wind to anchor by running one engine forward and one reverse, but I've forgotten the autopilot is on. So it's pivoting the one engine that's idling and forward in order to fight my attempts to turn the boat. So now with the autopilot off, I can actually bring the bow of the boat to face the wind. So I'll do that, have the bow face the wind, get the boat out of gear, and then drop anchor and have the boat drift downwind away from the anchor. I want the boat facing the wind when I drop the anchor so that the boat doesn't drift over the anchor and possibly entangle the anchor rod in the outdrives or anything. And since I have a YouTube channel, I set up to get a close-up of the anchor actually dropping. And I'm going to take out a little pin that's holding the anchor there. The pin prevents the weight of the anchor from hanging on the gears in the windlass.
Wonderful, at least.
And again, I'll bring the bow into the wind before dropping anchor. At real low speeds, like coming to a dock or something, it's more effective to steer the boat like a tractor with forward and reverse of the engines than it is by turning the steering wheel. Although I'm doing a little bit of both here. Now I got to start the camcorder, that's important, and drop anchor. And this is where I'll spend the night. Far enough from the island that the mosquitoes can't fly out here.
What the?
I'm still learning to run the boat. If I had run forward just a little bit to get some slack in the anchor rod, and then push the button to raise the anchor and just raise it a foot, it engages a lock so that the windlass will actually hold the boat in position. I would still have to pull in a bit of rod by hand. Oh, there's a big chafed spot. I do have chafe protectors, but I hadn't used them because I figured that was for like anchoring in a hurricane or something. But that's a really nasty spot. It's really weakened this anchor rope considerably. And it's a nice rope. It's 8-plate rope so that it curls up in the bottom of the anchor rope locker very neatly in a very compact pile instead of swirling around in loops like normal rope would. That's too bad. I'm going to have to replace that over the winter. But I do have 2 shorter ropes once that's taken care of. And I'm sitting here waiting for the boat to come back and start pulling on the anchor line. And what I'm looking for is mostly things on the bottom to see if the boat is moving. Is the anchor dug in, and am I stable here, or is the anchor dragging? That's a mantis anchor that's 2 sizes oversized for my boat, so I don't think it's ever dragged, really. But I always check. There have been incidents with the sailboat dragging anchor. So it's one of the things every boater really checks on is how well set is my anchor. Looks pretty good. So to prevent another chafed spot in the rope, I'm going to dig into some of my hurricane anchoring equipment. A lot of people use a little section of fire hose that's been slit down the middle, and then they put that around their rope where it goes through cleats or eyes or whatever. And then you tie that on. I got these from Jeff Bezos. They're special chafe preventers, and it's almost like a piece of fire hose. It's material that tough. And it's got Velcro on it, so once it's wrapped around the anchor rod, I can wrap it around itself and get the Velcro to grip. The Velcro likes to grip everything, so actually applying it is slightly more difficult than I had imagined. And the idea of this thing is that where the anchor rope rubs against the side of that pulley or whatever it is there that created that damage to the rope, this thing will take the hit for your anchor rope. It's made by Davis Instruments. Davis Secure. And they did not pay me or supply these to advertise them. I bought these with my own money, with the thought of putting them on if I ever had to tie the boat off and ride out a hurricane with the boat tied up somewhere. Because lines chafe through and then boats get loose and wind up in a big pile during hurricanes. Anybody who lives down here has seen that way too much. And so this is just it for another episode of $900 Luxury Yacht. Check out these other videos on my channel.